Good evening, my fellow wanderers of the weird and the wicked. Welcome to 50 States of Mystery, where the truths are twisted, the suspects are slippery, and the plots are positively puzzling. Tonight, I invite you to step into the shadowy world of Los Angeles in the 1920s. A city where jazz wasn't the only thing hot, and ambition wasn't the only thing dangerous. Our tale begins with a murder under the starlit skies of Beverly Glen. At its heart, a woman whose beauty was as mesmerizing as it was deadly. Madalynne Obenchain. Her eyes, dear viewers, could tame lions, or so her admirers would have you believe. She wasn't just a woman, she was a spell cast upon every man who crossed her path. From her hapless ex-husband, Ralph Obenchain, to the besotted Arthur Burch, to the tragic Belton Kennedy, Madalynne wove a web of obsession, betrayal, and scandal that led to 5 infamous trials and one of the most enduring mysteries of the jazz age. So, light your lanterns, lock your doors, and keep your wits about you as we dive into the jazz age murder mystery of Madalynne Obenchain. And remember, trust no one, not even me. It was August 5th, 1921, when Belton Kennedy, a dashing insurance broker with wealth, charm, and the promise of a bright future, was found dead outside his summer cabin in Beverly Glen. The fatal blow, a shotgun blast to the back of his head as he stooped to retrieve a lucky penny. Beside him stood Madalynne Obenchain, her dark eyes wide with terror, or so she claimed. Kennedy's last words were whispered to the woman who had enchanted him. "Good night, Madalynne." Was it the dying breath of a lover or the final curse of a man betrayed? That, dear friends, depends on who you ask.
Good night, Madalynne.
Born Madalynne Donna Connor in 1893, she was no ordinary woman. One reporter described her as having a maimed look of a dying antelope, a gaze that could melt even the coldest heart. By the time she reached Los Angeles, she was a woman of wealth, beauty, and a knack for turning heads and breaking hearts. Take Ralph Obenchain, for example, her ex-husband and self-proclaimed savior. When Madalynne was arrested, Ralph didn't just quit his job and rush to her side. No. He took it one step further. He secured a marriage license and begged to remarry her in jail. Romantic, isn't it? Well, the judge didn't think so, but Ralph wasn't done. He decided to star in a movie about their love story, promising to donate the profits to her defense fund. Unfortunately, theatre owners weren't interested in sensationalism, and Ralph's cinematic debut was a flop. Some stars shine too bright, my friends, and some, well, they fizzle. On the night of the murder, Kennedy and Madalynne arrived at his cabin, where she asked him to retrieve a lucky penny she'd hidden under a rock. As he bent down, the first shot missed. The second, however, was fatal. Witnesses later claimed they saw a man fleeing the scene, carrying what appeared to be a shotgun wrapped in cloth. And who was this mysterious figure? None other than Arthur Courtney Burch, another of Madalynne's admirers. But was he acting alone? Or was our leading lady pulling the strings? The trials, yes, trials, were the talk of Los Angeles. During her first Christmas in jail, Madalynne received over 100 gifts, including a $1,000 bill. Jurors fell under her spell, and even the newspapers couldn't resist her charm. They published her poetry, sentimental verses dripping with longing for the men who had betrayed her. Of course, Madalynne wasn't the only star of this circus. Arthur Burch had his own moment in the spotlight when a reporter from the Los Angeles Examiner revealed that Burch had confessed to the murder in exchange for $4,500. The kicker? He secretly recorded Burch admitting that the story was true, but the courts ruled the recording inadmissible. Then there was Paul Roman, a convicted felon who became Madalynne's jailhouse beau. Their letters, read aloud in court, were equal parts scandalous and ridiculous, with Roman borrowing lines from library books to craft his responses. When he betrayed her, the press had a field day. Her poetry written in a diary of her last few years. If I could gaze within your eyes, their depths unknown erstwhile, and find reflected their love's all-engaging smile. If I could see your arms extended wide, invite to tender nearness at your side. Her letters to Roman were also quite poetic. "I love you, believe me. Don't give up on me now. If you do, I will take you with me. So help me heaven." Roman testified at her second trial and read her letters aloud. He asserted that she was asking for false testimony regarding a new statement of hers that she saw two raggedy men at the scene of the murder. These are various photos of the trials with jurors visiting the murder site. In the end, 5 juries couldn't agree on a verdict, and both Madalynne and Burch walked free. After the trials, Madalynne spoke dreamily of dedicating her life to a leper colony, but settled instead in Eagle Rock and Laguna Beach, California, where she dabbled in acting and avoided the limelight. Arthur Burch tried to move on, marrying Irene Butts, but even in death, his devotion to Madalynne lingered. When he died in 1944, he left part of his estate to her, a final act of loyalty to the woman he called his goddess. After the trials, Madalynne Obenchain seemed to slip quietly into the shadows, or did she? In 1929, she resurfaced in the newspapers, rumoured to be engaged to an attorney. Yet, no records indicate that she ever remarried. By 1930, she was spotted taking a luxurious trip to Hawaii, a sign that life after the courtroom wasn't entirely bleak. In 1950, Madalynne reappears in Laguna Beach, California, living alone in a modest apartment. How she supported herself during these years remains a mystery. She didn't join a leper colony, unless, of course, you consider Laguna Beach a leper colony. During the 1950s, Madalynne became a member of the Laguna Beach Women's Club, a group known for its civic-minded middle-class women. One can't help but wonder, did they know about her sensational past? Did she ever share her story over tea? Or was she simply Mrs. Madalynne D. Connor, the quiet neighbour with a shadowy history? Where did her money come from to live such a lifestyle? By the end of her life, Madalynne had somehow achieved middle-class security. She passed away in 1961 at the age of 71, taking with her the secrets of Beverly Glen. Did Arthur Burch pull the trigger that night? Was it at her behest, in a fit of jealous rage, after realising Kennedy was never going to marry her? Or was it simply the folly of a lovesick man manipulated by the woman he idolised? We'll never know, but one thing is certain. Madalynne Obenchain's story is a tapestry of mystery, woven with intrigue and unanswered questions. And so, dear friends, we close the book on this jazz-age enigma, Madalynne Obenchain, a femme fatale, a misunderstood woman, or simply the wrong person in the wrong place at the wrong time? History offers no verdict, and neither shall I. Do you have a theory? I'd love to hear it. Drop it in the comments below, won't you? And while you're here, do me a small favour. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and ring that bell icon so you never miss a single tale of intrigue. Until next time, keep your lanterns lit, your minds sharp, and your hearts, well, guarded. You never know when a Madalynne might come knocking. Good night, my friends.